The pick and roll is simple. The screener sets a hard screen, then rolls to the basket. The ball anter looks for the open shot or drive.
Oh, welcome to the final installment of this series. I mean, first of all, I just want to give myself a pat on the back. These openings have gotten better and better, and also the copyright-free music. Wow, that's really hard to say, especially if you don't have a script in front of you. It's really good. The options are pretty legit. But anyway, I just want to take some time before I got into the list just to go over some things about this role in particular. Center to me is probably the role where really any character you want to play will be fine. I think this role is mostly dependent on your gear affixes. If you put a really good big set on any center, it's playable. Of course, some are going to be better than others. Also, some are comp dependent. Just know that if you really like one center, you can 100% make them work as long as they have good center gear and the assist units are right and you have the good talents on. It's going to be fine. I think of all the positions, big, you probably have the most flexibility because I think they really do rely on affixes the most, set affixes. And I mean, of course, every role does to a certain extent. Point guards, you need firefighter. Now Vanguard, people are running a lot. So it's not like other roles don't also, but I think big, in my opinion again, relies on them the most. So the actual user, you just would be optimizing on your pick. Anyone would be fine, but of course there will be the best pick every game, and champs, or characters I should say, who are just objectively stronger. So yeah, and also just want to also mention, I don't know how much time I'll have to go over the specifics of big in the video, but just to say some general thoughts about the role. Right now in this meta, and maybe this will change, and maybe it's been different in the past, but currently speed on Big's mobility is really valuable. It probably is always going to be like that. I'm sure for most basketball games it's probably similar, but just your ability to move across the court is really, really valuable. So you're going to see a lot of the bigs that rank really highly are bigs that are mobile. They either have speed boosts or they have dashes, So that's going to be one of the biggest criteria for bigs. Of course, the rest will be blocking ability, rebounding. Sometimes it'd be their ability to set screens and to avoid screens, stuff like that. But just know that speed is actually quite important on this role. So that is going to be a ongoing theme. The other thing just to mention is that when it comes to bigs, it's hard to make this list because a lot of time it is comp dependent. Who you're playing versus, who you're playing with. These things will determine how good this particular character is. Based off of that, it's very circumstantial. So I'm going to just try and make an objective power ranking based off if you have to blind pick them. I think it'd be a bit too confusing of a list if I'm only ranking them off of ideal conditions. So this will just be a general power ranking. Just keep in mind that it completely varies based off of the team comps, also the ELO you're playing in, the people on the actual players. All this matters. So just take it with a grain of salt. This is not going to be entirely accurate, just none of the tier lists are. And again, I'm just a player. I'm not the authority on it. This is my opinion. And just to give a baseline to people who are not familiar or as familiar with the game as I am. But yeah, so I guess also I just want to say quickly that, so let's say you're playing a shooting comp, right? You're playing a comp where you want to be shooting and your shots that you're putting up are not going to be 100% shots. Your character will throw up shots that are closer to 50-50. So they'll be contested shots, but you have a chance to make them. That's just the way your character shoots, Jun Seong. It's a really bad way of pronouncing it, but he is somebody who will be throwing up shots like that. Fire King. Certain characters are just more prone to throwing up shots that may or may not go in. So in those games, somebody who has really good rebounding is highly valuable. Somebody who can grab boards reliably is super, super high value with a comp like that. There are other comps where if you're taking a shot, it's likely going to be 100% shot. You're playing Misaki or a character like that who is only really taking green shots that should be going in. then you don't need to worry as much about rebounding, right? You can just set screens, and you don't have to be under the basket and be concerned about that as much. So, that'll change based off comp, which center is more valuable that game. But anyways, there's a lot of yapping. Oh my gosh, it's been 5 minutes already. Let me just get into the video. Sorry, but yeah. Hey, 6, so here we go. Into the final list. How awesome is that? So since I did a lot of the explaining earlier, I can kind of chill out now and just focus on the characters and not explain too much. It's funny that it took me this long to catch on, like the proper way to do this. That's okay. So we're starting off with Vanessa. Really solid big, not super common. I mean, you'll definitely see her in better lobbies, but seems like lower elo lobbies, she's not really a popular pick. As you can see in her ability, she's a good rebounder, she's a good blocker. I think one of her downsides is that even with like speed assist units, she's still pretty slow. So that's probably, I guess there are like certain comps where she wouldn't be good if you're versus like people who are super high mobility, just can't catch up. I'm sure she's really good versus dunkers, especially since she has grabbing block on dunks now. I guess she would just struggle versus more mobile comps. Amy is similar, she's a really good rebounder. So if you need somebody that can just grab boards, it also like set up plays with the rebounding pass, she's solid. Just, they're almost always going to be better options probably. But again, really solid, does what she does really well. Just maybe not like the most optimized pick for a lot of team comps, but definitely playable, for sure playable. Especially now that there are 3 bans in each team. We're gonna see a lot of big bans, unless like people know each other and somebody is being target banned, then that's different. But standard lobby, you'll probably see a good amount of big bans. So maybe we'll see some more Emma, and especially if he gets like some buffs, maybe you'll see that as well. The skillful screen, I'm never too sure how I feel about it. Maybe I just haven't seen people use it really well, but it kind of seems underwhelming. I think she's fine. I think definitely like mid-tier for sure. Daisuke is a pretty good blocker. I think he can be really good against certain dunkers. Again, not a super common pick, but you definitely will see him sometimes. Explosive block, I think I've mentioned this in the past. I don't necessarily fully understand what the benefit of that is, because I feel like it's maybe even worse than like a standard block. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I still haven't had anybody really like explain to me proper why that ability is even like desirable. So anyway, I'm not too sure about that, but he is a solid blocking big. Don't think he's really great at grabbing rebounds. I think you're mostly picking him to block people. Victor is one of the bigs I'd say has decent abilities. I don't fully know why he's not picked more often. I mean, probably again just for some reason he's not as good as other options, but I think he's solid. Like, I haven't checked his base stats. He could have really low base stats, and maybe that's why, but I don't know. I mean, when you look at his abilities, he seems like he'd be pretty decent. Like, especially this one right here, key pick, I think that's like pretty solid. So I think he could be good, but because nobody plays him, I'm not saying that, people always play the right champs. Obviously, people will play meta stuff. So I think it could be either one or the other, but just because I haven't done the due diligence looking at stats, like his baseline numbers, he could be just like bad for that reason. So I'd have a hard time ranking him higher just because I did not look into that, but just know that if you do look and he has decent numbers, his abilities are great. He could be a really solid big. Biggo to me is fine. I don't love bigs who have like dunk abilities in their kit. I think a lot of times if your big is dunking, it probably is just like a free 2. So having abilities that help you dunk, I don't think they're super valuable realistically. Just because again, like if you're in a position to dunk as the big, either you're forcing it, like you're picking him as like a secondary scorer, or it's a free 2. And I think if you're picking dunker as secondary scorer, it's a little troll. So yeah, I would say I don't love that. Read Mighty Fast I think is nice, just like Emma has it. I think it actually is a pretty pretty valuable ability. Especially because it does give them like a slight shooting buff. That's nice. Only downside is that a lot of times people like myself will not be expecting it, so they'll do that, and you get the ball, and you're like, wow, that's awesome. I just wasn't ready for this. So, oh, good though, good. Big Mike is another good blocker. He definitely is slow, but he is a solid blocker for sure. Similar to Daisuke, I don't actually know why you would pick one over the other. I know Big Mike has a dunking ability, so he's probably a little bit worse than Daisuke for that reason. He has Thunder Dunk, which is whatever. So that's probably why Daisuke would be picked more often than Big Mike would be. But he's a solid blocker, so if you have Big Mike ranked up, and you don't really have a good dunk blocker in your rotation, he's totally fine. I think he'd be fine. It's just the only issues, like, people may think you're griefing because you're locking in Big Mike, but he's totally fine. Howie is... I've heard some people say, like, they actually don't like playing versus Howie because he has the Dream Shake and his Thunder Dunk, so he can be kind of difficult to deal with as a big because he can score quite easily if you don't respect it. I just don't like that kind of play style. Yeah, I just think it's like a cheesy playstyle, so I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I wouldn't want to see this in my solo queue game. I don't want to have a Howie, so I would rank it low just for that reason. I think it promotes crappy gameplay. Amy, and you'll see, like, I think also with Big, a lot more of abilities being recycled than other roles. Like, you're seeing a lot of the same exact, abilities on each of these. So it's also like there's not too much to say, right? Because like a lot of these abilities we're seeing consistently with each, and also it's like not a super dynamic role. You're really just doing a couple things. You're setting screens, grabbing rebounds, you're blocking. That's really it, right? So there's only so many things you can do, to be fair, as well as like giving like debuffs to enemies or buffs to your units. It's going to be very similar for most of them. Whereas with shooting, like there are a lot of different ways you can go about shooting. Same with point guard, like. I think at point guard is kind of the same thing too. Anyway, when I first saw Big Joan, I thought she was terrible. Then my friend was like, I think she actually could be good. And I thought about it, I was like, yeah, like I think actually Big Joan could be really good. I think the problem is she's not very mobile, and she'd have a hard time getting into position to use her great abilities. So she has a lot of potential. If she got buffed, I think she'd be like overpowered. This is Sara. Has a hook shot. Hook shot's nice. It's okay. The acceleration is always good. Always gonna like acceleration. It just gets you in position to set screens, to score, to get blocks you would normally get. And there's so many things you can do with acceleration. It's always good to have movement, so. My only gripe is that all of her skins are ugly. Even the Christmas, which is their best, is still pretty ugly, so that'll work on that. I actually really like Alan. I think Alan is not played as often as he should be. I think he's really good into a lot of comps. You see his abilities, like he has a lot of the passing abilities, so like fake dunk pass, the flash pass, the alley-oop pass. So he's like the white, like the point guard white of the center role, and I actually really don't like playing versus Alan. I think a good Alan, like with a good team with good coordination, really problematic. I don't want to play versus him. So I think he's good for sure. Robbie is one of the GOATs. Robbie is really difficult to deal with for a lot of characters. There's some characters who are good into Robbie, but he's fast. He has a switching mode. He's really, really fast. He sets hard screens to get around. He's also kind of hard to screen, which is funny because he's so big, but at least in my experience, not the easiest big to screen. He has the block catch, which is amazing. And he also has the enhanced rebound. He's just really annoying to play versus. You'll see him banned often. He's not like, I wouldn't say he's overpowered, but he's definitely, top tier. Difficult to play versus in certain comps. Really, really solid. Andrew is another. I think Andrew's probably one of my favorite bigs in the game. I just like characters who give you a lot of value without you having to do anything. He has his passives, Intimidating Block. He has Intimidate as well. Both these things are just like debuffs for the enemies. So anybody who has that kind of thing, just like Malik has, we'll get into that, but I just really like characters who get value intrinsically. Like, you load into the game and you have value. I like that. It's not like you have to do things to get that. So I guess in this case you have to block something, right? But you know, provocative provocative is his debuff on hit rate. It's a significant debuff too, even without upgrading it. It's still like a really significant debuff. So love Andrew. Really difficult to dunk versus a good Andrew. He also has good perimeter defense. He also sets really good screens. Yeah, he's just a really good big. I think he's probably my top 3 favorite bigs in the game. Even though I think he's been nerfed, I don't think this is like peak Andrew. I think he definitely has been nerfed before, if not recently. So really good. Emily is somebody who's creeping back into the meta. She was for a while not really being played, and now she's creeping back into the meta. She is good versus a good amount of dunkers. First of all, because if they try and back her down and they're taking too long, she can definitely go for the sever, and she does. Her chase block allows her to block people from different angles when they're going to dunk, as well as shoot, of course. So certain dunkers she just does better into because she has the chase block. Fingertip block is always nice, allows you to get the possession a lot easier. Malik is a character you'll see banned a lot. He does have just like a lot of value just from his, like you see that, it's putting them into a restrictive state. They can't move. He slows people with his I don't remember, sense of pressure. And movement speed is so important in this game that nerfing and, like, you know, bringing down somebody's movement speed is super important. Flying block, if you don't know, you fly across the court and block anything. Only caveat being that it's kind of hard to land if you're not like comfortable with the angle you have to be on. But yeah, he's just ridiculous. He runs like speed bump and you just can't move. Lan, top tier. She gives her teammates shooting buff. She has a dash to get just dash to set up screens or to get to the rim to get a board. You know, anything, right? To get a block, anything. This is her shooting buff that she gives teammates. Really nice. She has a vigilant block, which is amazing. She's just super solid. Almost always going to take her if she's up. You know, same with the next character, Kyle. Just super good. Don't think that's debatable. I think everybody recognizes how good Lan is as a big. And yeah, last we have Kyle, one of the most recent, if not the most recent releases. Has enhanced rebound, always going to be good. Mighty grabbing block, again, always going to be good. Also, like, I feel a lot of people don't read these and see like ability stack. His collision resistance, really nice as well. He's just hard to contain. And you'll see his next ability makes him really fast. Movement speed increases, physical contact, but really and who cares about your shooting action? You're not shooting, so it's funny that they even put that as a thing. But yeah, look at that, and look at when you level it up as well. It's just really good. So that is the summary of the bigs. I know that a lot of them are very similar. They'll have similar kits, so it may be kind of difficult to figure out where you stand on certain characters. But hopefully this list helps you a bit. You can see who I have rated at the top, and I did do it in order. So I think Lan's the best, Andrew second, etc. That is how I actually would rank them. No hate to the ones on the bottom. Again, super good. If you like playing those, feel free to play them. Just know that it's maybe not optimal. You could probably play one of the higher rank characters and do the same thing better. But still, you're totally free to play whoever you like. It's going to be fine regardless. Hope you enjoyed this video and this series. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my picks, and I hope you have a great night or day.